All right, Oj, welcome to Studio 1A here again today, and we're going to start off with a little birthday shout out to the birthday boy here. We won't mention how old you are these days, but celebrated a birthday, and sounds like we had some fun at the lake.
Which is why we're here on one of the first ever, right? Have we ever done a 9 o'clock on a Monday night pod?
I have no idea.
My God, I can't imagine, but the show must go on. We couldn't pull it off yesterday. Crouchy had a little bit of a window. But it was right during some festivities down at the lake, so...
I heard there's tell me about the bags tournament. I heard it was big time.
I'm shocked that you know this already.
I got people everywhere, Oj.
Well, there's a couple takes on that. First off, I'll just say this. As well as things went for Doug from Parts Unknown and myself over the 4th, it took a turn yesterday, and I can't really say that I played poorly. I was average, I was on the board a little bit, but not draining the 3-pointers. The other competition, for the most part, was decent, but nothing great. Bootstrap Bill was on the board, but I've seen him play better. His dad was decent. But the story of it was the wife, Miss Haley.
That's what I heard. I heard he married a ringer.
It was that was the best bag throwing I've seen in years. And of course, I was going against her. I think in a 3-round series, she went 4 for 4 in the hole, 2 for 4, 4 for 4. So 10 out of 12. It was tough for me to keep pace with that.
No doubt.
Yeah, that was impressive. She was outstanding. Ease and I got beat in the first game relatively handily, and then got double skunked, believe it or not. Back to back, never scored a point, double skunked. So then we switched teams, switched partners, rotated some people around a little bit, and I was able to get a win. But she was outstanding, but the other story of the night would be the fact that my original partner, no matter where you put her, she couldn't get a win. She even went with the star, and they lost. So Haley was...
She could not have handled that one.
Not really, no. No, she tried to laugh it off, but I could see the frustration. Haley was outstanding, and Ease was 0 for 5 on the evening. So that's the way the bags went. But it was a good day overall. So weather was good, had a good time, cooked a bunch of fish in the grill.
Nice.
But before we go on any farther, I think we got to bring this up. So, number of topics. We haven't been here for a while, so we got a lot of listener questions to take care of. But I think the first thing we got to bring up here is the biggest bit of news, sporting news in the UP, and certainly locally. And we've talked about the UP Sports Hall of Fame plenty of times over the years. We've brought up the list of inductees each year that we've been doing this podcast, and the list came out in the press here within the last week, 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. And one of the inductees this year is none other than the person sitting kind of to my right, Mr. Crouch. Congratulations, that is one hell of an honor. God dang it, I had no clue. And I asked you, who nominated you? Did you know you were nominated? We got to do some investigating in that, because you got to thank whoever nominated you, because you don't just get in. Somebody's got to do this, right? Put the stuff together. But going in as we'll say coach, but football is the term used there. Your playing days, state title, and obviously the amount of success that you've had got you this award. I mean, God dang it, how did you feel when you got that phone call?
Completely, to be honest, I thought it was a prank call.
Who was it?
It was a lady from the council.
Okay.
And called me, talked to her. Yeah, I don't even know what to tell you. I was blown away. Never in a million years saw this one coming. I think you and I would probably agree that it's like the ultimate honor being from the UP. So it's extremely humbling. I still feel there's a lot more people deserving than myself to be in there, but still really trying to take it all in. It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you, but like I said, I never saw this one coming at all.
Yeah, I mean that's a hell of an honor. That, like you said, that's the pinnacle. If you're involved in whether it's playing or coaching or officiating or whatever it is in the UP, to get that honor, and you got it. Christ, you're still coaching.
Yeah.
You know, you're not in the rocking chair, and so awesome. It was very proud for you, and it's a little. That should be the tip of the cap, the Mark Leaf tip of the cap. But yeah, it was great hearing that. So congrats, Crouchy, and it's out there in public now. So if I knew how to do all the fancy stuff that you do, like put that stupid picture of me in high school for my birthday, I would have done something. But I don't. So there you go. Congratulations, Crouchy.
Yep, thank you. Like I said, it's very, very humbling. Thank you. A lot of people have reached out to me, and it's been, like I said, it's kind of overwhelming at this point. But
well, you got till May now to figure out your speech on that one. Make it quick too.
I live by the notion that you stand to be seen, you speak to be heard, but you sit down to be appreciated. They ain't clapping because it was a good speech. They're clapping because it's over.
And you'll probably have to pee too. So
I'll have to pee before I go. So, but anyway, let's move on to something really important here, Oj. Which I really don't know. You got to kind of take the lead on this because I'm kind of busy these days. But suppose we got to start with baseball. Is that where we want to start today?
Might as well.
I mean, you got to be the happiest guy on the planet.
Yeah,
at this point.
it's the last time we talked, I was mentioning how the Brewers were white hot at that point and had surpassed the Cubs in the division, took the lead in the Central, but it's gotten to the point of almost ridiculous now how well they're playing.
And they're scoring so many runs.
And they're doing it, and they do it different, you know, and that's what I like about them. I'm watching them all the time or listening to them. They just do it different. Tonight's a perfect example. They're getting out of the car. They're up 6-1 in the Pirates. But it's bunting and base hits and infield singles. And, you know, Pat Murphy calls them the woodpeckers because they just aggravate the hell out of you. They run those pitch counts up. They make life a living hell for the starting pitchers. And you know, this weekend series with the Mets, they were trailing every game, and of course yesterday they were down 5-0, I think in the fourth, and I wasn't paying as much attention as I normally am, and lo and behold, they come back and get a walk-off from the guy that's going to be the Rookie of the Year, Isaac Collins. He hit a home run in the ninth, and they win it again 7-6. It's been a blast. They're playing well, and like I said, they're just doing it in the way of like how baseball should be played, right? We're not worrying about exit velocity with these guys. They're just grinding out at bats and, you know, tacking on runs. Bullpen's been solid. And, you know, they've won. So I got some stats here for you. I got to pull this out because this is kind of cool. I mean, and they've done this without Jackson Churio, who's been out. But
what does he have, a hamstring?
yes. And, you know, so they got the best record in baseball by 5 games now. You know, over the Phillies and Toronto, and the Dodgers are 5.5 back of them. But since July 6th, the Brewers are 24-4, best record in baseball. They also own 2 separate 9-game winning streaks for the first time in franchise history. They have 3 separate 8-game win streaks for the first time in franchise history. And more importantly, they are undefeated since manager Pat Murphy ate that pancake out of his pocket during the interview. So they got a lot of things going for them right now, and it's been a blast. So we'll see what happens. You know, you don't want to. There's 40+ games left.
Lord knows your world could come crashing down in a heartbeat.
I don't want to even get into that because that's going to be a stressful fall once it comes playoff time. But yeah, just hope they can keep going and put away the Cubs and see where they're at matchup wise in the playoffs. But yeah, it's been fun.
Okay. Along the lines of MLB, we had a first in MLB history recently.
Saw that.
First female umpire, Jen Powell.
Powell, I believe.
Is that how you say that? I got to be honest with you. When I saw this, I was actually surprised that it's taken this long. Because I mean, you see females officiating in the NFL, the NBA.
Do a lot of them? I wonder if a lot of them stay with that softball, you know, in college.
Quite possibly.
He plays softball and you know, women's softball in the college ranks or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I think she did. She was on the bases her first night and was behind the plate. I saw a couple things on Twitter where I think the first call actually was an obvious ball and she gave a strike or whatever. But who doesn't?
Yeah.
Watching some of these guys, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So congrats to her. We'll see where that goes. What else we got?
I don't know. What else you got, Oj? You write the lesson plans this time of year.
We'll stay on, we'll stay on the baseball side.
Although mine is typed up and yours is on the back of a phone bill.
Yep, exactly. That's all I could find today. I see our old boy from the Tigers and multiple teams there, Justin Verlander, had a little milestone the other night.
I heard some grumblings on this. Again, completely oblivious to the sports world right now. So what do you got for us?
He is, I believe, might have this wrong, but I only had 2 weeks to get it right. He had, I think, the 20th pitcher ever to have 3,500 strikeouts in his career. So 3,000 is always the number there, right? You got to have a lot of success, sustained success for a long time. He's at 3,500, so I thought that was pretty cool for Verlander. He's with the Giants now. So he got that the other day. He's not having a very good year for them, but...
so obviously he started before they really started monitoring these pitch counts like they do today.
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't know, not a heck of a lot more baseball-wise. We'll see. Detroit's laboring a little bit, and Cleveland's coming on. I think the Tigers got the White Sox right now, so they were ahead 1-0. But yeah, we'll see where it takes us here the rest of the way through.
Okay. The next thing I got on the lesson plan here is a survivor pool. So we are doing a survivor pool again.
Yeah, and
is this obviously NFL?
So, yeah, no shit. We did this. Did we do this last year, or
we did it 1 year? I don't remember.
Did Here Come the Judd win that?
He won something. I think we do a Final Four pool or something too.
Well, we have.
I can't keep up with all your gambling exploits.
Yeah, so we just did it like on our own, but the whack job is going to take charge of that this year.
Really?
Whatever that means.
So we don't got to do anything, or you don't have to do anything.
Well, I'm sure the money will be coming to me.
Okay. Oh yeah,
the Venmo or whatever. Deal with that, but
post-dated two-party checks.
Well, he's got an ESPN, the app that he sent us there, so I'm not sure what we.
So there must be a login thing to get into that. So
welcome to the Eliminator Challenge 2025, blah blah blah. So we'll get in touch with him, get some more of the details out on that, but I believe it'll be through ESPN. I don't know. He sent a link, but that'll make it easy. But those are fun pools. They're simple, you know, and those that were in that, that were in that before, get in again, $10.
So that isn't going to start up till September though, right?
Right.
The season. So we got some time to.
Yeah, week one will be. That's always the tough one in those, you know.
Right.
Knowing who to pick and what can happen that first week. But we're going to do a podcast, Survivor Pool, and we'll get the info out to you. But it'll be $10 a pop and winner take all, I guess.
Yeah, we have to do winner take all. Okay. And yeah, thanks, Whack Job, for taking care of that for us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hit the Mark Leaf tip of the cap this week, and this is a pretty cool one. We're gonna tip the cap to Al Ayat. Recently had the warming center at the Bicentennial Gipp Arena.
Yep.
Redone and named in his honor. I know Andy Storm was kind of spearheading that. They had a very good ceremony last weekend to do the dedication. I know Bodds was there, and Stebbs was there, Crows was there. They all spoke. And then I heard rumor. Well, it's not a rumor. I heard this is firsthand coming from somebody. Al did his infamous strike three you're out at the end of his little presentation. So very, very cool thing for anybody who knows Al Ayat and what he's been around Calumet forever.
And it's not just, you know, the high school sports is one thing, but like Andy Storm had mentioned, it goes beyond that because Al was involved in youth sports, umpiring Little League forever too, you know, so he was a mainstay for...
He was up in Little League when I was playing Little League.
Right, yeah, so it's, and you know, he's been involved in every boys, girls, basketball, volleyball, football, oh, now I got the hiccups. But yeah, I'm sure Al loved that because it was a heck of a day for him, and then to have the coaches back helping him out and talking, that was great. So
tip of the cap to Al Ayat and all the people that helped make that event what it was. Very, very cool. It's good to see for anybody that knows Al from the Copper Country. Speaking of Copper Country,
Copper Country Sauna is the premier sauna builder in the Keweenaw, led by two brothers-in-law that share a passion for saunas and want to provide custom saunas to the Copper Country residents. When you are ready to throw some water on the rocks, visit our website at coppercountrysauna.com or give us a call at 906-281-9427. Yeah, it was great for Al. I wasn't able to make it. I was in Ewan that day for see some friends, but yeah, it was. I know that guys that were there had a lot of fun, and I know Al loved it.
Okay. We got an interview today in Crouchy's Corner, and we'll throw the name out there. The name of the interviewee is Kerry Ecklund, which may not be very well known with people that listen, but this is one hell of a story.
Yeah, it's a little different as far as our interviews go, because it's not a UP native that was involved in coaching or playing or whatever, but owns Luigi's Bar. You know, the bar's been there forever in Calumet. And yeah, he's got a heck of a story there with what he was involved with as far as arena football, things like that, and some of the people that he knew.
Some big time people.
Oh yeah, really good story. I mean, you and I sat there in awe listening to him talk about those days when he was involved with that. So yeah, you should enjoy it. It was a great interview, and Kerry does a great job.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Kerry. And we'll ask you what we ask all of our interview people. Have you ever actually listened to this podcast?
I have not, but I've heard about it from Dan. You know, but I haven't. I got to get the little icon on my phone so I can get to it easy.
Well, you're not missing much.
Oh,
that's
come on.
for sure. But you know, you and I had talked a while back about this a little bit. And for those that don't know, Kerry's owner of Luigi's historical bar in Calumet. Your family's been here now a number of years.
Yeah, actually, we've had our house up here for 31 years.
31.
Yeah.
And came here from the Fox Valley area.
Snowmobiling, yep. My dad raced snowmobiles, and we were up here ever since I was little, pretty little, 6, 7 years old.
Okay. But, you know, for those that know you, I'm sure they're aware of this. And, you know, I've come in here a number of times, and I look at the helmets that you have above the bar. And for those that don't know, they're probably wondering, you know, where those teams came from, where those helmets came from. And you got a good story, because we've BS'd about it a little bit. Yeah. And it goes beyond just your ties with arena football. But it's a hell of a story. So why don't you get into that a little bit for us?
Yeah, we were born into trucking. Really, my dad was a milk hauler, and when me and my brother were little, you know, we were in the truck with him every day. We went around, picked up at the farms, and brought it to the plants. So we were in trucking right out of the gate, and that's pretty much what we knew we were going to be in the rest of our life. And that's what I did my whole life, is book freight. We got into dry van freight, 53-foot semi trucks, and I booked freight my whole life. That's what I did, is, you know, get customers and book freight, dry van freight. And you know, I'm a huge fan, huge Brewers fan, and my dad was a huge sports fan, huge Packer fan, you know, because we lived right by Green Bay, and went to a lot of Packer games, went to a lot of Brewer games, and just, you know, grew up with a lot of sports. And seen arena football, you know, for the first time in the early 90s, and I just always thought it'd fit in really good in Green Bay, because they're starving for football year round, and not a lot of towns are like that. And we knew the market good. You know, I know a lot of people in the area just from the trucking business, a lot of traffic departments, employees and stuff like that. And everyone pretty much knew Ecklund, our family trucking company name. And so I tried to apply and put an arena football team there in 96, I think it was. And so I met with Jim Foster and the upper echelon of the Arena Football League, which was the only league playing that sport, because at that time we thought you had to be in that league because they had a patent on the sport. And they denied us, and we had too small of an arena. They were playing in all big markets. They were, you know, playing in Milwaukee and Cleveland and Chicago, and they weren't in small markets at all. And our arena was pretty small, about 4,000 max fill, Brown County Arena, the old arena in Green Bay. And so, and after that, I started a basketball team in Green Bay, and called the Wisconsin Blast. And I hired Bob Knight's son, Pat. He was the head coach. And
what year was this now?
That was in 1997. So we actually started in 96 and the season started in 97. And we played 97, 98 season in Green Bay. And then we moved down to Appleton. We played at UW Fox Valley in Appleton, Wisconsin Blast still. And then the next year I moved it out to Rapid City, and we were the Black Hills Gold. And then we went to the Corn Palace in Mitchell in 2000, 2001 was the last year I did that 4 years. But the first year in Green Bay with the Blast, I my cousin actually told me about an arena league that was starting up to compete against the Arena Football League. And I was told that as long as you don't have the rebound nets that Arena Football had, you're good to go. That's all they really had a patent on. They made it seem like they had it on the entire game, but you can't patent football. And so we studied it and made sure that was true, and it was true. And so the PIFL started up, and I started 2 teams. I started Green Bay Bombers and the Madison Mad Dogs, and we did a test game in Green Bay. And this is about halfway through our basketball season. We did a test game in Green Bay, and we were getting crowds for basketball at Brown County Arena, about 1,500 fans. On a good day, we didn't have very good days because we were competing against. For time in that arena, we're competing against UWGB and the hockey team there. So our dates weren't great, but when we have a Friday night or a Saturday night, we draw 3,000. So, but I did football, and it was just a test game, and the Bombers didn't even have logos on the helmets. Neither did the Mad Dogs. We rolled out the turf, and I got just getting the turf and all the stuff, I had a lot of friends and a lot of help, and it never could have happened. It never could have gotten where, I got the 21 teams that I owned. We couldn't have done that without trucking. There's no way. And just a lot of contacts through Bob Knight was a big help. He got me my first field at Indiana University. Actually, Nancy helped a lot too. Bob's first wife, Pat, who was coaching for my team, his mother, and she actually stayed with my mom and dad when Pat coached the team. So we all became very close, And so Bob found out that Indiana that year in 97, when the season was over, they were going to a grass field. And so Bob arranged it so we could have the field for free. Go on down, tear it out, and you can have it.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so he gives me the guy's name at IU, his boss, who wound up actually being the guy that wound up firing him years later. And Harold Morrill, I think his name was, I can't really remember, but Bob said, give him a call, let him know when you're coming in to tear it out. All right. So I called the guy, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, Coach and I told me to give you a call because we're going to tear that field out. You guys putting grass in, he said, and we're going to tear out the artificial turf. Young man, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. So I hung up the phone, called Bob. Bob, he says he has no idea what I'm talking about. And Bob's like, you call that, son of a bitch back in 1 minute. Okay. I called him back 2-3 minutes. And the guy picked up the phone, and all he says, come in and get the turf. That's it. So Bob made some kind of statement that
Oh, boy.
made him realize we were coming to get the turf, and apparently agreed to get it for free all within a minute. So we went in and grabbed that turf, and I made 2 fields out of it for Green Bay and Madison. We did our own painting for the most part. The guy that painted Lambeau for years, he was really helpful. I didn't know how to paint a football field. And he came in and helped us quite a bit and gave me the stencils that they use at Lambeau for the numbers. And so we copied those, so I wound up using those for all my fields. And we got it painted up and got the sponsors on there, and really you learn quick how to paint a field and paint logos. And, you got these little things you lay on top and you follow the dots. And, we got pretty good at it. Thank God, because all of a sudden you're doing 20 of them, But we did a test game, and the test game, it was packed. I mean, we charged $10 to come in and sit where you want. We really just kind of wanted to develop the game because we're not doing rebound nets. We had some different rules. I had a lot of CFL guys that were involved. I had 2 CFL coaches that were involved with me. Both of them were in Madison at that time. Then I had Mario Russo, who was with the Badgers for 30 years. He was the head coach for me in Green Bay. And so we came up with rules. Bill Lamagna was very helpful developing the rules. He was the head of the Big Ten referee. He just retired now. He's on TV, does replay for the Big Ten yet. But got all the rules developed. We brought in the rouge. So if you don't get it out of the end zone, it's a point. If it's kicked to you, we allowed punting in our league. So we had some different stuff, and we didn't have the rebound nets. We had goalposts, just goalposts. And if the ball flies in the stands, fans get to keep it. So it worked good. It was very popular, and it was just the test game was packed. And it was kind of funny because Pat and I was there watching the game with me, and we did everything for basketball. I mean, everything. It was a rock show with basketball. I mean, we had fireworks off the backboards. We had a three-pointer. We had the AC/DC Ball Breaker Castle from their 1995-96 tour. I bought that from the band. We called for them. I bought that from them. Knocked that down with a wrecking ball every game. The team comes running out. Pretty big show for minor league basketball just to get fans in. And then, you get 1,000 or 2, it's like, come on. And then football came around. We didn't do nothing. I mean, we hardly had intros for that test game, and the arena's full. I mean, it's absolutely full. And, Pat, I'll never forget, he's like, these cheeseheads. You put a helmet on, they'll just show up, which is somewhat true. It's a very, very strong football area. I knew it would be a good area. And Madison was a good area for us, too. So, because we had a lot of Badgers players. And had Dick Adams down there from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers coach, and then Bruce Cowdery, and he was with the Argonauts. And he played in the NFL with a couple teams back in the 80s with the Oilers. But they knew what they were doing. So we had good talent, good at getting players, really good at getting players, and both our teams were really, really good. But we were competing against Denver, Dallas, Honolulu, Minneapolis was in, and it was a small little league, and then the Arena League sued the league right away. And it was on ESPN. Oh, yeah, and, they're talking tough. You're not even going to finish your season. They call all our arenas, and, you might as well shut them down right now. They're going to be locked up in court forever, and, absolutely not true. They wound up, 6 months later just dropping it because they didn't want it to go to court. So, but then after that year, or through that year, we had a few problems with these other teams traveling. I travel Green Bay out to Honolulu. Next week, Madison goes out to Honolulu. And it was $51,000 to ship 2 football teams out there. And, we went along, family went along, stuff like that. It was very, very costly. And then they'd play up by us, how the schedule laid out. Oh, they ain't got enough money to travel. That kind of stuff. And I had a problem with Denver doing that. Had a problem with Minnesota doing that. Waco wound up going out, but they didn't make it to us. I had them early in the year. So, you're only as good as your teams, and you can't be responsible for these other teams, which I didn't like, So the last couple of weeks of the season, I said, hey, I'm out of this league. I'm starting my own league. And we laid out the cities we're going to go in, and this is what we're doing. Piffle PI, they're mad, of course, but I'm not doing this again. I mean, we sell season tickets. We sell more tickets than any other team in this league, and it looks bad on us, and we still had the teams play. I mean, we made sure we had players, games all went on, but we had to do a lot of work, and we had to take a lot of the costs that they should be doing. And we traveled everywhere. They could rely on us. And I just wanted full control. And so the next year I started out with 8 teams and owned every team. And it was great. It was wonderful. Every team did outstanding. I mean, really good, real good competition. Had a few games televised, which back then was a pretty big deal in the 90s. And then I hired Kellen Winslow to be the commissioner of the league. And he's a Hall of Famer from the Chargers. One of the best tight ends in football history. And he worked for Fox Sports Net, and he got us on Fox Sports Net. And in the third year I did it, we had all the games you could get on DirecTV on the satellite dish. So you can see every game, which wound up being a big deal for getting talent. Because your talent, all these guys care about in my league, the way I structured it is the first year you get $250 a game. Second year in our league, you get 300. Third year, you get 350. And we were kind of ahead of our time. All our guys got paid the same way our drivers. They have a card. And we just put their money on their card every week. We have to mail out checks. Every player had a card. Money gets downloaded every Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is. Boom, they're paid right then. And, that was unheard of at that time, but it was a good idea. And it was a trucking idea.
Great idea.
Yeah. And it worked good. And our players loved us because they're actually getting paid. And some of these other teams, they wouldn't pay them. And, well, we lost our quarterback. Let's go get another one. That's how they were. And unfortunately, that's the way it is in arena football today. It's pretty sketchy. So, but the small markets were the key, because that first year of my IFL, I played in, we had Green Bay, Madison, and then I put a team in Duluth, and then I had Peoria, Dayton. I had a team in Topeka, in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they all were great. And we had great attendance. We averaged easily 4,000 or 5,000 at least in every arena. Dayton was my worst. Dayton's a pretty big city, and that was our worst. We had a great arena deal there, but that was our worst franchise. So you mentioned earlier too, you had the Badgers and some of their players that weren't able to go on to the next level. But I mean, it's not just there. You got that whole Wisconsin system. And Lincoln was incredible. I mean, that whole team was Cornhuskers. It was unbelievable. And in Lincoln, Nebraska, we actually sold out on season ticket. So before the season started, it's like Lambeau, You're going to buy a ticket, you're going to have to buy it from someone that has a ticket, which was unheard of for that sport. I mean, the Milwaukee Mustangs were playing. I was a season ticket holder for them, and that's arena football. They'd have 2,000-3,000 fans in the Bradley Center. You know what I mean? The key was smaller markets. The Lincoln, Nebraska's, Peoria, Illinois, incredible. I mean, we had 14,000 people at games in Peoria.
How much were you able to get? I mean, again, how many universities are in the Wisconsin state system? Oshkosh, I mean, you got some good football.
Yeah,
that's big time football.
And we had
a lot of those kids.
Oh yeah. We had
Whitewaters and Lacrosse and UW Stevens Point and so on, right?
Yeah, and we moved in 2000. We wound up moving 9 players from the IFL into NFL training camps. Chris Horn played in the NFL. He came from my team in Billings in 2000, and he wound up playing 13 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right from Billings, boom, right to New Orleans, I think he went to at that time. So, I mean, we were exposed in talent, but TV is what really exposed the talent. And it looked good on TV, but this sport is really a sport where it's great when you're at the game, because you got a wall and you got a player flying right into you. You know what I mean? It was a fun sport to go to, but it looks so much better when it's full and that crowd is rocking and it's loud. That is really what makes it look good on TV. If you're playing in an empty barn, I don't want it on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like a concert. You look around, there's empty. Well, why am I here? That's what people started to think. So it was good, and we did it at the right time, and we did it when it was brand new. Every market I went to never had it before, and in every town we're the big fish in that little fishbowl. And our competition wasn't Major League Baseball like it was Milwaukee and Chicago. Our competition was, minor league, at the most AAA, and that's, in AAA, that's hard to compete against. I mean, that's an entertaining game to watch. So we didn't have a lot to compete against, and we're the big deal, and we were up north a lot too, and I think that's very important. They cherish their summers a lot, so you think, well, everyone's going up north, and in some cities we had to do Friday nights. Friday night is the night we had to do it because they still watch the game and then they still head up north. North Dakota, they don't go up north. So Saturday nights were great there. I had Fargo and Billings, and you don't go up north when you're in North Dakota. When you're in South Dakota, you don't go up north. Wisconsin, Minnesota, everyone's got a cabin or goes up north, or camping or whatever. So every area is a little bit different. We figured it out and we tweaked it and did the right dates. And I mean, doing our schedule, it's Tammy laying in bed figuring out the schedule. The arenas would give us the dates, and we had some Monday night games. At Lincoln, I had a couple Monday night games, because they're full. So it worked out well. And I look back now, and there's a lot of our games that are on YouTube. And you look back now compared to what they do today, and I'm like, oh my God, we did really, really good. I mean, incredibly well. The guy who owns a team in Billings right now, Stephen Titus. I had a team in Billings, and we were always full. I mean, we were always packed. And he had an Easter game. And he's like, yeah, it's Easter Sunday. He had 1,500 fans or whatever. I sent over a video. We did an Easter game there against Madison, and we were full. We were absolutely packed. But I think it does wear down on people. But you got to give them a tremendous show. I mean, we had the music for every arena. We had the music that worked. I mean, every guy that played the music played our music. When you walk in the arena before the game with the NFL classic music playing, you know, that stuff playing gets you in the mood for football, you know. And then every single game, regular season, not just championship, when the game's over, you're on the field. And all the fans go on out the field. Players had to stay on the field, sign autographs, take pictures. Very fan friendly. And that, it worked.
Well, let me kind of backtrack on you a little bit. I mean, the story is amazing, and we knew a little bit about it, but that's incredible. So talk a little bit about your sports background. Like,
There's very little.
Very little. I mean, the trucking company is obviously well known through.
I played baseball, you know, up until I was 17. You know, I raced motocross mostly as a teenager. That was the thing that we did in the summertime. Me and my brother did that. And just, you know, big fans. I had a buddy of mine that we played baseball together, and he was working for the Brewers. He was a promotions director for the Brewers. And I go to Brewer games, and I sat in his office, and we'd, you know, crash ideas, you know, and it was about it. I mean, you know, speaking in front of people and talking, and that was never a big deal. I always had to do that in transportation. You know, you had these traffic meetings, and you got to meet the owners and stuff. And that always, you know, I just talk. There's 14,000 people, and you're talking to a crowd, or if you're talking to me and you, it's just kind of the same. I block everybody out.
Well, if you can handle the pressure of sitting here with us, I mean, you can handle anything.
Boy, I am
just big time.
I am sweating a bullet.
$13. So kind of shift gears, and you know, then you got out of that league, and there's still remnants of the league going.
Yeah, we what I wound up doing is I did sports for 5 years, and I was gone a lot, and it does take a lot of time. You know, I wound up having 21 teams. You know, because I expanded, and I wound up selling Lincoln in '99. I sold it to a popcorn potato chip factory in Lincoln, Nebraska, Weaver Foods, and he bought it, and that was $1 million. And you know, I sold one arena team for $1 million, which was great. And I just took that and rolled the dice, you know, threw it all right back in, and ballooned up to 21 teams that next year. But I did a couple teams out east. I did Johnstown, PA, and I did Erie, Pennsylvania, which were both very good cities. But I did West. The West was really, really good for us. I mean, the Dakotas was good. Casper, Wyoming, Billings. You know, I had Rapid City. I had Sioux Falls, Fargo, Bismarck, Sioux City, Iowa. You know, those cities are the best. They really worked well. When you get east, they're a little more critical. You know, they compare you to baseball a little bit more. They compare you to the NFL team, and you know, we're nowhere at that level as far as the money to be able to spend on advertising and stuff like that. But we had very good talent because our games were televised. I mean, and that back then was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. And Fox Sports, they were just buying up everybody back then. They're buying all the little MSGs and all these MSC and all these little regional sports companies. And, you know, like I said, if you had a satellite dish, you had DirecTV, you could click on any one of our games. And plus we had a deal with the CFL where all our games went up to Toronto to the CFL office. And each team had alignment with a CFL team. Green Bay had Winnipeg. Peoria had Toronto. Topeka had BC, had British Columbia. So that Canadian team, had first rights to any players on that team. So that worked out, you know, good too. I don't know, everything worked, but I had a lot of Canadian coaches. I had great help. I mean, our coaches that we had were incredible. I mean, Dick Adams, he went from coaching Winnipeg, he just took off, did Madison, right when Madison was done, and Madison made it all the way to championship game in August. Boom, he went right back to Winnipeg, you know, and kept coaching again. But we had really, really good talent at coaches, real good contacts to get players. You know, Mario Russo, incredible contact. I mean, we actually This is how good Mario was. Brent Moss, Rose Bowl MVP, 1992.
Running back, Badger running back. Yep.
Yeah, had a sniff in the NFL with the Rams. Well, anyways, he signed with the Mustangs of the Arena League, Milwaukee Mustangs. And Mario got wind of it, and Mario's like, "I'll get Brent. You and me, let's go over to Racine. We'll meet with his mom, dad, and Brent." We had Brent in a second. Brent, you didn't even do their and he signed a contract with him. He's like, "No, forget it. I'm playing in Madison." He went to Madison just like that. Because we told him every game's televised, and he wanted to be back in Madison. That's, everyone knows him in Madison. He was a nice draw for us, and he loved Mario, just loved Mario Russo. So that is what, and that happened in a lot of cities. And, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Damon Benning, running back, another guy, had a sniff at the NFL. He went to us. He was signing an arena team. He went to Lincoln. I want to play where I played. All his fans are there. Everyone knows.
Sure.
If he's playing in Tampa, Florida, no one knows him in Tampa, Florida. Everyone knows him. They want to be back in that city. They want to play in front of a big crowd. So that was very important. And I tried to get coaches that were big in those areas. In Billings, I got Mitch Donahue to coach. And nobody knows Mitch Donahue. But in Billings, everybody knows Mitch Donahue because he played for the Steelers and he's from Billings. And he's the big NFL guy there. And with having one owner for all the teams, it really allows the coach to control the team 100%. I had nothing to do with this player goes here. It had nothing to do with that. Head coach, you have full control of the team, and they love that. They absolutely loved it. That was their team 100%, no strings attached, And that worked out really, really well. And we did that in pretty much every city. Someone big from that city. That worked out good.
And so the league lasted, or you were involved with that, how many years in total?
3 years. Did 3 years of that. I sold. What I wound up doing is I sold to the Arena League, and it was a 3-year buyout, and it was for a base money of $3.3 million, 1.1 for 3 years. Plus, I got additional money for franchises sold, and it seemed right. I did it for a long time. It's a lot of work. I mean, putting all these teams in, we didn't hire people, hey, go paint this field, go paint this field. I mean, I took my bowling buddy and we went on tour. And we would just go around to every city and, we'd have the field, and we'd have to cut the field to fit. And then we'd have paint every end zone. I mean, some end zones are Budweiser, and the next one's Coors Light or whatever, the whole entire end zone. And, the big team logo in the middle. And we got pretty good at it. I mean, we would knock out a field a day and just go on to the next town.
Well, I think that's the impressive part, how hands-on you were with everything.
Oh, yeah. They did a lot of stories on that, too. They'd have, the sports team out from, whatever, Bismarck, and I'm painting the stripes, they got me painting the stripes, and they're interviewing me why I'm painting a stripe. And, and that, people can relate to that,
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it when they see the owner out there in the trenches with everybody, and that builds your culture.
Yep. And in those size cities, that's where everybody lives. I'm from Larson, Wisconsin. I'm from a town smaller than Copper City where I live now. It's everyone helps everybody. And we had a lot of volunteers, and I had my cousins down in Wichita. I had a team in Wichita. My cousin lived in Wichita, and I came flying into town, and he runs the dorms for colleges. That's what he does. He's at Marquette, and he's down in Wichita State, and he's been in Omaha for years now. But I come flying in there, hey Joe, and then all of a sudden, all the local sports came there, and they interviewed me right in his driveway. And so he's out there and calling his buddies, and then I had a ton of volunteers the next day, because it's fun, it's cool.
Well, you know what? It's a hell of a story. I mean, you've talked about it with me a little bit here and there, but never to the extent that you did now. It's pretty cool. And, so then here you are, and family purchased a historic bar in Calumet a number of years back. I mean, Luigi's has been synonymous with Calumet sports, hockey side of it, right? Forever. Luigi's is with the Paulson family.
And hey, let's not forget about the baseball team.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. 80s. 90s, yep.
And you haven't, you added your little touch to it, but it's still Luigi's. It's the same place as it's been.
Try to put it back
you know,
original.
which I think is cool as hell.
Yeah.
You didn't change it, didn't change the name, you know,
No.
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And then of course you got the speakeasy downstairs, which a lot of people don't know about, which is cool. But let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we got this place. Actually, my two son-in-laws played hockey for the Wolves, and this was their big bar for the Wolves was here. And a guy bought this from Marquette, and it was not a hockey bar when he owned it at all. I mean, it went downhill real fast.
I remember those dark times.
Oh God, he had paper on the front window. Every curtain's closed. He had to knock on the door to get in. You know, if you ordered a beer, he had to run down to the store and get it. You know, it was pretty bad. He had couches in here, and it was pretty seedy crowd, I guess you could describe it. And they told me about, actually, I think Dave Beslow, because he was looking at it. And he's a great kid. He grew up with my son. Awesome guy. And he told me about it. And he said, hey, I might buy that. And I told him, well, let me look at it, you know, because I really wasn't in here that much. And, well, we wound up getting it. And it was a good price. But it was run down. It's pretty beat up. And it's a 115, 16-year-old bar. You know, there's always work to do in this building. You know, we got 4 permits upstairs. And it's constant work. It really is. But the guy that had it, he wasn't doing any work.
Yeah.
He was just letting it go to hell. So, and he actually didn't own it. We wound up buying it from his mom and sister. Thank God. So anyways, yeah, we got it. And, you know, he was squatting upstairs. We finally got him out of here. And, just keep plugging away at it. You know, we want to have a kitchen is a big deal. You know, I'd like to have a kitchen and have burgers and steaks. So, you know, I got that lobster tank's been sitting back there for a few years. Like to get that rolling. And we said I did a lot of big lobster fest, huge lobster fest down in Wisconsin at the Iola Car Show. And we trucked them in. Ecklund trucked them in. We got some direct places. We get them right from the boats. And people love lobster. I don't know if they love it up here, but I know if I had lobster here during snowmobile season, we get every snowmobiler in here for sure. You know, and have a good steak, a really good steak. And, you know, that's what's always been the plan. But, you know, it's just, I love living up here. It's relaxing. I wake up every day. I mean, what I did down in Wisconsin, very hectic. A lot of pressure. You wake up, you better be rolling wide open at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, you got 100-something drivers and nothing ever goes smooth, you know? So yeah, having a bar compared to that is very relaxing. Believe it or not, no one thinks owning a bar is relaxing, but it's a lot more relaxing than what I had.
Oh, when your clientele is all 80 and over, how tough can it be? We're looking at a couple of them right now.
The afternoon clientele, yeah. Nothing good happens after midnight, though.
Well, based on the type of person you are, I'm sure Luigi's is going to be at the top of the list when Oj and I do our bar challenge.
All right. Good.
No, appreciate you sitting down with us and telling that story. That's awesome.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, and snowmobiling is I've always loved the Keweenaw, and I always told Jerry Rhoda and Judy Rhoda for years, because Jerry and my dad were friends for,
Vansville,
oh my God, 60 years, you know, and them two would raise hell. Big time. They go out and not come back. We wake up at the cabin. You know, Dad never came home. Judy come in there. Where the hell's your father? So they went out and gave her all the time and had a lot of fun. And I always loved it. And I never wanted to go home. We were up here. I have to go to school. And Jerry's like, someday you can buy a place up here when you get older. And you know, I've always loved the Keweenaw. I just absolutely love the laid back. I love snowmobiling, trail riding. Everything's right out our back door, and I absolutely love it.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that incredible story with us, and anyone who's listening, get your butt down to Luigi's and support them.
There you go.
Thanks, Kerry.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Located 8 miles south of Lake Linden on the Bojack Road, the Dreamland Restaurant, your choice for great dining. Family owned and operated for over 100 years. Whether you're in the mood for their Mexican Monday specials, burgers, pizza, or a Friday fish fry, Dreamland is your next stop. Speaking of Dreamland and Bojack, we probably should also give a second Mark Leaf tip of the cap to the Bojack Fun Run.
Oh, yeah.
That was this past weekend, I believe.
Yep, it was, I think they had 187 runners, walkers, whatever, that showed up out there, and great fundraiser. Crouchy and the girls, they do a great job, and I wasn't wasn't able to pull that off either, but, it was very successful again. Like I said, they've been doing it now, I don't know how many years it's been,
Been a number of them.
yeah, and.
I know you did it once, I did it once.
Well, I've done it more than once. You just remember the one where I held
Yeah.
off a certain Italian down the stretch. That's what you remember, but I had more than just that.
And I'll say it again, like we say every year, James Thomas Gospel believes it is falsely named.
Because there's nothing fun about running.
No fun about
Yeah.
nothing fun about running.
Yeah, and it's boot check first responders, right? The proceeds go to that, so
Yep.
it's
Which is
for a
awesome.
great cause. So yeah, that was great. Thank those guys for that. Couple other things here I want to throw at you sports wise here before we get to the questions, which is going to take forever. But just two real quick. Well, three actually. I got in the notes here. Did you see our boy Shadur's performance there? Did you look at that or hear anything?
I
about
heard it was solid.
that? Yeah, so he's got his opportunity because we're, making fun of the Cleveland Brown quarterback situation. He had about 7 guys there. And then lo and behold, a bunch are banged up or whatever. So he gets the start in their first preseason game and did pretty well. He was like 14 out of 23, a couple touchdown passes. Sounded like he looked good. And then I just heard on the way down here that he's still listed as 4th on their depth chart behind like Gabriel and whoever the others were. I think they got that old veteran that was with the Ravens.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, that's, whether you like Shadur or don't, the draft thing was the big story with him and how far he fell, but he's got an opportunity and he had one the other day, 2 days ago, whatever it was, and did pretty well with it, so I thought that was interesting.
We're not giving him a tip of the cap, are we?
Probably not yet. And then the other part of it is this whole, people are all up in arms over this, and I'm not sure how to take it, but ESPN is flexing their muscles a little bit, and they went and bought the NFL Red Zone.
Yeah.
Purchased into Disney or whatever. And,
Yep.
or Disney purchased, that's the owner of ESPN, the NFL Red Zone Sunday ticket. I don't know how that's going to work out or what that's going to mean for watching it. I'm not a huge Red Zone. I mean, I get the package, I watch the games.
I like it, but I don't.
I know the people that like it are the fantasy people.
Yeah.
Those that are involved in fantasy football. That's their station, right? To keep up with all that, but I don't know how that'll all change with ESPN jumping. I think they bought like the wrestling thing or something too. I don't even know what the hell that is, but I thought that was interesting. That was on my list. Did you notice? Well, I guess we can get into this a little bit too when there's a couple questions on our college football takes, but I want to throw this at you and see if the boys at Bucks and Booze podcast, if they have ever heard of this. And I thought this was pretty cool. And it was Michael Letty that brought this up. So, have you ever been in a scramble or have you ever heard of this? And of course, like I said, I'm not a golfer by any means, so I wouldn't, if this happens all the time, I apologize, but I thought this was kind of cool. The only thing I don't remember with it is if each person, each duo, partners, if they each get a yardstick in their golf bag, or if it's just one per team, but you use that yardstick to measure the putts that you want as a gimme.
Are you kidding me?
Yep. So
if it's a putter length, it's a gimme. Let's be for real.
I'm just saying.
Jesus.
So in those scrambles, you gotta measure it. So if you want to take that, if it's a 2-footer, you got to mark your yardstick at 2 feet. Now you have the rest of the yardstick for the rest of the way.
Yeah, whatever.
So you want to say you're not impressed with that?
No, if people are doing that, they're dicks. Play golf the way it's supposed to be played. If it's within a putter and it's a scramble, give it to them.
Jeez, I thought that was kind of cool.
I got to tell you, I got a good scramble story, and like I said, usually it's all fun. I'm playing this is years ago. We're playing in a 3-man scramble, and to make it long story short, I'm the guy that putts first, so I can show everybody else the line, right? Because I'm terrible at golf. So we're playing. I don't even remember who I'm playing with, but I putt it. It's like it was close. It was with like an inch of the cup, right? Good putt for me. So I walk over to get my, instead of marking the ball, I tapped it in the cup, grabbed it, walked out, and the guy goes, that by tapping that in, you actually count that stroke now. Those guys can't putt. It's like, give me a break.
Oh, jeez.
Go jump in the pond.
I don't think that happens at the Zick tournament.
No, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of gimmies at the Zick tournament. It also helps us speed of play.
Anyway, yeah, I thought that was interesting, but apparently you don't, so we gotta move on to the listener questions, and we got a load of them.
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
We got a whole bunch here. Paul from Boise. Howdy, boys.
Howdy, Paul.
Congrats to him and his bride, too.
Oh, yeah, anniversary, that was a fun night.
Yeah, that was last week sometime?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brewers are hot and currently have the best record in baseball, yet they are ranked as the number 10 favorite to win the World Series. Why the lack of respect? Second part says, the Badgers over-under win total is 5.5 for 2025. Which side are you taking? Will Luke Fickell survive the season? As far as the rank to win the World Series, that stuff means nothing to me whatsoever. It's the best team playing. Right?
And this question, this Paul's question came in after our last podcast, actually, right? We never got it in.
Oh, I think you're right.
This is a little older, so I'm guessing that the number 10 favorite, that's probably changed now, since then, but, yeah, I couldn't care less. I think the lack of respect is basically coming from two things. It's a small market, and they don't have the stars. They don't have the guys. That was what part of this is so gratifying, is the payroll that they have, and mopping up on the Mets, who spent a ton with Soto and whoever else. So I'm guessing that's the way the Vegas people look at that, but.
You want to find out the true answer, Oj? Ask the teams that are positioning themselves for the playoffs if they want to play the Brewers. Ask the people.
We're 6-0 against the Dodgers too, by the way. So
yeah, I don't pay any attention to those things. That's kind of like an 8 They really don't matter at that point. Badgers win total 5.5. I did take a look at that schedule. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, so I love win totals. We'll get into that a little bit. Well, I guess we don't have to tonight. I did mark some stuff down NFL wise, but we can wait.
Yeah, we'll have to wait on that as we get closer.
I was looking at that today. I took a screenshot of the NFL win totals, and I do enjoy those. I don't bet them that often because you gotta wait till the season's over.
And you won't remember.
But the Badgers, so their schedule, the AP preseason, they face number 3, 7, 8, 12, 14, and 20, and that does not include playing Iowa, Washington, and Minnesota. So 5.5, I am a betting man, and I would say under on that. And as far as Fickell, I'm guessing, unless it's a complete disaster, he's going to get another year. I think he's a good coach, but they seem like they were just kind of grasping at straws last year. They switched their whole, the Badger thing for all these years, right, was fullback, tailback, run the ball down your throat. They always have those, all Big Ten tailbacks, and that's changed. It certainly changed last year, but with their schedule, yeah, it's going to be tough, and that is one hell of a schedule for them to deal with. So I'm going to go under on 5.5, and I'm guessing you would too.
Yeah, I probably would. I would agree with you. I have no reason to think Fickell's not a good coach. I think he's got a pretty good track record. But it's hard if you have some down years, you have a couple bad years recruiting. It's at some point things got to turn around. So like I said, I think he's a good coach, but I think their schedule's pretty tough. And we'll look at win totals. We probably should. I'd like to go through the Big Ten at some point too. I like doing that one too, and that. So. All right, I'll do this next one too. This is an old topic. This is from B-Dubs. Due to recent events, I feel like this question is relevant, even though I risk suspension by asking it, mainly because we already discussed this, but is a sauna cycle complete if you don't dunk all the way under the water, including your head?
Well, my first thoughts on that would be, I have 2 videos, and we should somehow put those on our website. Can you do that if you find some time? But we got
to talk to our media department.
Jesse from Appleton and the Silver Fox, 2 of the most pathetic attempts at going into Lake Superior I've witnessed in a long time. And the water isn't even, they went in prior to this, obviously, so the water's warmer, but man, they look like 6-7-year-old kids coming out of just dunking down up to their shoulders and running out and screaming and arms flailing. So when the Silver Fox did it first, he took a lot of heat, and his relatives that witnessed it, they
Ashamed of them?
they didn't count it. They didn't count it at all. And then Jesse from Appleton's performance, I might have topped it. Did you see that video?
I did not.
Oh my goodness! When his daughter is right next to him, fully submerged, and he's so. I agree. I don't think you can say that you did a sauna and swim when you just walk in the water and dunk up to your
Yeah,
shoulders.
I think you got to submerge. I think rules are rules.
No, the Silver Fox got a decent head of hair, so maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know. Jesse from Appleton does not have a decent head of hair.
Yeah.
So he had nothing to worry about there. The other thing that I thought of with that too was, remember when we talked about those questions with, I think Jenny from Bootjack there was the one that brought it up, like, just because they would go in the sauna, in the lake, back in the sauna, back in the lake, and she'd say they had 3 saunas. Which I could not agree with that. Your sauna
That's
is
one
your sauna. When you get dried off and dressed, if you go back in an hour later, that's a second sauna.
Yeah, I think there has to be a lot of period of time. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, and sometimes, I'll take a morning sauna here. Sunday morning, I'm up early, flip the sauna, take a little morning sauna before you shower, and I'll get all that. Then maybe one in the evening, like, that's 2 saunas.
That's 2 for sure.
But like, when we had out the camp, if where mine was, it was close to the lake, sauna, we'll jump in the lake and back. I think there has to be a dry off period and a specified amount of time to count it as a second one.
Yeah, we should, if we can get those videos out there, it'd be great to, we put it on a poll. See who was actually more pathetic attempt between those 2 on their dunk. But
We could do that as a poll. We'll have to talk to our media department.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to read this one, then you can read these long, ridiculous
Oh,
ones.
thank you.
This is Normal Matthew. This one won't take long either. I don't understand why watching the NBA in June or MLB in November is a bad thing. I enjoy watching high-level athletes compete at the highest level when the stakes are highest, regardless of the time of year. Was the TBT basketball tournament not good basketball because it was played during the summer? This is like saying you can't eat steak for breakfast, or people complaining about the heat in the summer after whining about snow all winter. First of all, high-level athletes, watch them, awesome. The NBA playoffs are too long, they drag them out. That's my argument. That is, I agree that they got to have the playoffs, they make the money, but we don't have to have 3 days between every game.
And it's, the annoying part, it's all for the TV, the revenue
Yep.
of TV to get the best.
Has nothing to do with the athletes.
Right, it's the viewing, and they space it out, and it does get old. The baseball part of it even gets a little more aggravating because baseball guys their regiment is to play every day. I mean, the Brewers coming up here, they got an off day Thursday, then they play 19 games in 18 days. A doubleheader in there with the Cubs, but so then it comes to the playoffs, and you have odd days off and whatnot. So that's the annoying part of that. I agree with what he's saying, but it just does get aggravating with how the money and the TV revenue takes charge of that whole thing.
Yeah, so I don't know if Normal Matthew misunderstood what we said
Probably.
multiple times about this, but anyway, the TBT basketball tournament, not good. I don't even know what that is, don't care. You can't eat steak for breakfast. Yes, you can.
Well,
You can have steak for breakfast.
no, steak and eggs for sure. That's it.
What if I just have steak and potatoes?
But you don't have. See, I'm not into that.
Like steak and hash browns?
No,
Yeah. Well,
I like a breakfast, an actual breakfast. Normal breakfast meals, lunch.
oh, I do too, but
You're not eating a ribeye and a baked potato for lunch. That's your dinner.
or I'm taking a hell of a nap that afternoon.
Leftover pizza for lunch.
Yeah,
But I'm not into wake up and have a bowl of chili for breakfast.
I hope not. I'll have frozen pizza. I'll have cold pizza for breakfast. So get up in the morning, get a little leftover.
Even that's a stretch.
Anyway, yeah, Normal Matthew, you might want to pay attention.
All right, so we're on to the whack job here. Geez, this is, let me see if I can pull this up quickly. Probably not. So here we go. We have bonus question. This is 2 from him.
Oh, good.
So he says, okay, you guys kind of shat the bed on this question from last week, which was 2 weeks ago. I'll own some of the blame. I should have used more words with us, yes.
Speak slowly.
He says, I said multiple decades, but what I should have said is generations. Crouchy got close with his reference to Wooden's UCLA teams or Ariana's UConn teams, but that's one person consistently coaching a great program. Oj, frankly, you should be ashamed of yourself. Belichick and Brady, question marks. Jordan Bowles, question mark. That's embarrassing. I want to know which franchises consistently dominated their sport over multiple decades with different players, different coaching staff. It's truly a rare thing. The dynasties you guys came up with are great, but all those examples have individuals, whether players or coaches, that were part of it through the whole thing. Here's my point. U.S. women's soccer. Current lineup is the fourth generation of players representing the consistently number one ranked team in the world. They've had at least 5 head coaches during that time. Since 1991, they have won 4 of the 9 World Cups and 5 of the 8 Olympic Games. There's nothing that compares to this level of performance, correct? Boston Celtics have won, they have an argument because they've won several sets consistent names, blah, blah, blah. Ray Auerbach, Bill Russell, Havlicek, through the 70s. Years go by, then it burned McHale in the 80s, but it's hard to argue that they were as dominant as U.S. Crouchy is now taking a nap. Women's soccer, he actually is, he's on the couch. Blah, 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 blah. Am I missing something? Why doesn't this get more acknowledgement?
Because it's women's soccer. Which again, credit to those girls for the success. It's awesome, but I personally never paid attention to it. I don't even know what the heck he's talking about at this point. Mainly because
I don't know. I don't. There's got to be others other than women's soccer. I mean, what does he want us talking about? Russian chess?
How about like someone like Jack Nicholson? I mean, he's an individual, multiple decades.
Nicholas.
Well, that's it.
Nicholson would be one for the cuckoo's nest.
Oh, yeah.
Others.
Shut up, Luke.
But it's the same player. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing for you on that one. I thought we did a hell of a job with our answers the first time.
Well, maybe he should give us some answers.
Well, he's trying to get us on
Lead
board
us
with
into something, but-
women's soccer, which again, they have been cool. Like I said, I have watched them in the World Cup or Olympics before, but I don't know enough about it to offer an opinion, nor do I care enough to offer any more.
Well, hopefully that shuts him up for a week. Well, we got to be nice to him because he's taking charge
Yeah,
now.
you're not getting suspended, and thanks for running that pool.
He also says, shout out to Cask and Flag and Dwayne. He goes, did he say I need to get outside more often? That's hilarious. I have a vague memory of being snuck into the South Branch by him and Oj well before I was of drinking age. Good times, I wish I could remember them. Well, he must have been bringing them for a sandwich or a pizza or something.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do anything other than that.
Can't put that establishment under fire.
It had to be for lunch. Is there a second part of this? I think there's another one. Hold on. Bonus question.
Oh God.
At this point in the season, who's got the better chance of making it to the World Series, Brewers or Tigers? I think we've kind of answered that just by the way they're playing. I mean, we're going to see Detroit's.
They have not played well since the All-Star break, going into the All-Star break. And again, I take full responsibility for that, for attending a game.
They're going to need a number 2 pitcher here to step up a little bit and to get the job done.
They are.
I think starting way, Mize has been shaky. Flaherty you can't trust. They picked up that Paddock from the Twins, who was good in his opener, and then he got shelled by his former team. Charlie Morton is pitching for him, who's 41 years old. They got him on a trade. Then they bolstered that bullpen, but I don't know. You know, we'll see. That's their issue is that pitching staff, and yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm way more comfortable with who the Brewers will throw out there in a short series, starting pitcher wise, than what Detroit has. So.
Be awesome if they both made it. Well, that would be something.
Oh my God, yeah, that would be outstanding. So I guess that takes care of him. Moving right along, let's see.
Caskin, Flagon, Dwayne.
Yeah, let's go back to my phone. Caskin Flagon is here. He mentions 2 questions. Shocker.
Oh boy.
I've been watching a fair amount. I'd love to know your thoughts on this.
Okay.
I don't know if you've watched this, but he's been watching a fair amount of Little League World Series, the prelim games on ESPN and ESPN Plus. He says, maybe it's just me, but the baseball fundamentals displayed by these kids are slightly short of atrocious. And these are some of the best teams in the country. Basics like hitting the cutoff man, proper bunting techniques, how to perform a proper rundown, list goes on. And they're not executed at all. My question to you is, have you seen a decrease in the preparedness of athletes to play at higher levels during your coaching years? If yes, why do you think this is happening? So, I guess, I don't know if he wants us to relate that, the lack of fundamentals with Little League World Series in the later years. What are your thoughts on that? I'll jump in real quick. I did watch some of the Little League World Series games, the early rounds. I mean, Nagani was
Tip of the hat to the Nagani team that got out of the
that was
area.
cool as hell, and you know, it didn't work out for them down there. They got, you know, handled pretty easily in their 2 games and were out. But you know, they represented the state of Michigan down there, which was cool as hell.
That's awesome.
So I did watch a little bit of those games, and my dad watched a lot of them. But we both said the same thing before I saw this. Really shaky, and just simple little things, feeling the ball in the outfield, where to throw it, you know, why are we trying to throw it to third base to cut down that runner when it's not happening? Now it's second and third instead of first and third. Little things like that were, I noticed it too, so obviously it drove him nuts, but what are your thoughts?
I have not watched much of it. I kind of flipped through, see some of the highlights. I'm sure all the teams have stellar jerseys. They got oven mitts in their pockets. They all got home and away bags with their names embroidered on them and stuff like that.
Are they checking exit velocity in Little League right now?
I'm guessing they probably are. I'm sure the kids are well dressed in their drip, as they say. But yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing you get a lot. I think it comes with other sports too. You see a lot of the travel. You know, I think that's probably having an impact. Travel baseball's a big, not in this area per se, but.
And who's coaching these travel teams, right? They're not getting paid for it.
It's a dad.
Right, so sometimes, and not always, but sometimes you got parents or people that are maybe not in it for the right reasons.
Seems like we've had this talk before.
Yeah, and maybe that's where he was steering us a little bit with that, but I guess that's probably part of it, right? These kids playing on these teams, many games, and what are the reasons, or who's coaching them, who's coaching the fundamentals, and why are they doing it, right?
I've said for many years, the best coaches, your youth program should be coached by the best coaches in your program, so they learn things the right way. And again, I'm just not qualified to really give an answer to what he's saying because I have not watched enough of it. I'm sure these guys know somewhat what they're doing, but typically Little League is coached by dads and uncles that have kids on the team. But again, there's nothing wrong with that because, like you said, they're volunteering their time to do it. But let's just focus on the positivity of Nagani representing the UP at the big show.
I want to get your thoughts on the second part of this question from him too. He said he was watching an MLB game with one of his boys, and the pitcher made an error that helped open up a big run-scoring inning for the other team. After the inning was completed, the announcer stated that the 5 runs were scored, but only 4 were earned runs. The only error of the inning was made by the pitcher. Why shouldn't the pitcher be charged with 5 earned runs since he was the one that made the error?
Because after he throws the ball, it becomes a fielder.
Done.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Handled that well.
Oh, well, thank you.
So we got a few more here. Here comes the Judd is back.
Don't use the word. Don't use the word.
He says, I knew it was coming. Should the WNBA lean into the new obsession of dildo bombardment to find a fluid marketing scheme and relevance, or take a tighter grip on a dry product? Hey, did you notice that fans are whipping dildos on the court in WNBA games now?
It's kind of embarrassing.
Oh my God. I mean, it's such a hard sport to...
Throw an octopus on the floor like they do at hockey. I don't, I'm staying away from that. I think that whole situation...
Maybe they should...
maybe here's the thing that should happen, in all seriousness, whatever, is maybe the media should quit showing it. you know, the more they show it, the more people are going to do it. Just it's kind of like the fan running on the field.
That plum, as soon as they hit the floor, she kicked it off, going back. Maybe they should do like, you know how in those games they have T-shirts and the players or people throw T-shirts into the fans?
Okay, so no, quit showing it on TV. How about that? Dan from McQuanago's back. Question for Oj: if the Jones family sold the Cowboys tomorrow, who would the ideal buyer be, or what characteristics would you want to see in the new ownership?
Well, how about this for a change? An owner that stays the hell out of the way, spends money,
Counts their billions.
allows the GM that he hires to run the organization and make the decisions. He sits back as the owner and lets these people that he hired do the job. I mean, that would be a pleasant change. It ain't happening with the Jones family.
So basically what you're saying is it could be any other organization in the NFL?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's probably a few, but not to the extreme that my Cowboys are having to deal with Jerry and his son there. But yeah, and that's a whole other thing. Right? We got to deal with the news, and I think he eats that up. The fact that they're a soap opera and that they're on and they're whether it's positive or negative, he loves it.
Yeah.
So this whole Micah Parsons thing, like,
Is it Micah Parsons or Micah Parson? Because Jerry doesn't know.
there's zero chance that they don't sign him. He's not getting traded. But Jerry's gonna do it on his own time. He didn't wanna deal with the, they were like 80% done. And then Micah Parsons brought in the agent. Jerry didn't wanna do that, didn't wanna deal with the agent. So now we're into this situation. But yeah, it's a little jab at me, I get it. But yeah, it is frustrating being a Cowboys fan dealing with that. Cause, you know, I believe Jerry wants to win. But whether or not they're winning, or if that's more important than the fact that his Cowboys are in the news, I'm not sure which is more important.
Jerry can't get out of his own way.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got left, Oj? You said we got
a couple late ones that came in. Let's see here if I can get.
And then we're gonna finish with the Bizarro one.
Oh, I don't know. We haven't got to that yet.
Good point.
Well, here we go. So we have no prep on this one at all. If you could import yourself into any two movies, what would they be? Pick one movie where you import yourself to change the plot, and another where you would do a side quest.
I don't even know what a side quest is.
Where you would do a side quest in that setting of the movie. That is a Q, not a G, right?
I have no idea. So we're
import yourself into any two movies. For me, it would be Westerns.
I knew you would go Westerns or something like that.
Yeah, I would probably, The Hateful Eight, I love that Tarantino movie. I'd love to sit in that and be hollered at for not shutting that door. Shut the door! And screaming at the guy you don't know the movie, but I'd throw myself in there. I have to be a good guy though. I don't want to, I'd have to be a good guy. I don't want to get...
Like die at the end and people be happy?
Yeah, exactly. So that's one I would think of. I don't know, what else? What are your...
First of all, I am horrible with movies, as you know. I can't even think of a good movie. You know what? I take that back. You know what movie I'm going in? I'm going into Hangover. I'm going to be the...
Oh, with Alan?
I'm going into the Hangover. Because I got some friends that are like that.
Not in this garage right now.
No, you're a good guy.
Yeah, so putting yourself in any movie, it's actually a decent question, but it's tough.
Yeah, it literally came in.
But the other part, another where you would do a side quest in that setting of the movie.
So, and just for the record, this person sent in, don't send us an explanation 2 weeks later, because we don't care.
Yeah, this is, I believe this is Robert.
Oh, is this the
Yeah,
guy?
Robert Saline or whatever.
Has he been suspended once already?
Yeah. I don't know, side quest thing,
Or, here's my second one. Albeit, what was the Tom Hanks movie where he's on the island by himself with a volleyball?
That's a good one, man. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we get up, like the movie be over quick, like somebody finds us right away, and then we're on.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
I
Instead
got
of watching him stare at that stupid volleyball for a month and a half. Any other ones? Let's see here. Well, I think we got to act. Georgia Wheeler?
Yeah, you got to read this. This
Is this the one you were talking about?
Yeah. So this one is. This email came in. This is not embellished one bit. This email came to us, and it says,
Hello. I would like to enroll my kids for baseball lessons. Could you please let me know if you provide such lessons? If not, I'd appreciate it if you could share the contact information of a suitable baseball instructor. Thanks. Well, my first thought was, who's screwing with us here?
"Yep, it's not a long lost relative of yours.
Nope.
It's got the Wheeler name.
Yeah, but there's not so many on that side, so that's out. We got to be careful because
Could be sincere.
could be sincere. If we answer it the wrong way, then we're looking like dicks.
Well, I would say if you need some help with baseball, obviously I don't have time to do it, and nor does my body.
What was that guy that had those videos? The Tom Bernansky? Remember that?
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll send him to the crime dog Fred McGriff's hitting academy.
There you go. Or just watch Milwaukee Brewers baseball if you want to teach your kid how a game's supposed to be played. But as far as us doing any, Crouchy, you'd be the one.
I think we're too old for that.
You got Yogi's cell number? We can give him.
You get Yogi's
He's
number.
about as good of a baseball guy as we know around here.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll look into that. We got a couple locals that might be able to help you.
Baseball note: Otter Lake Old Timers League champs again.
Yeah, they
Playing tonight.
survived without you.
I know. I'm hoping that there's a night where I can get out there, but man, my elbow is so bad right now. I don't know if I can make that throw.
You're not working as scout team quarterback at practice at Tech.
Everything comes underhand.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, George Wheeler, whoever you are, sorry if we didn't answer that. That's really not what we're up to or into here. So,
Yeah.
but appreciate you getting a hold of us. I guess.
All right, that was long, painful, and somewhat unnecessary at points.
Getting a little thick in this garage.
I
too.
know it is. Well, we should open some windows in the door.
We laughed Beth out of here when she said we should open these garage doors, and getting a little sticky. So where are we at now?
Time for the blue notebook.
Just like that.
Just like that, an hour later.
Oh, and we are down to
Oh boy,
not much.
holy cow.
Uh,
You have dragged this out for quite some time with this. Seems like
Wow.
we've been at the end of it forever.
It's helped with the every other week
Yeah.
thing we've been doing here. So anyway, I love the stories of how great songwriters come to write the hits that they do, and obviously the song has to find the right performer that can take the lyrics and turn it into a classic. So in 1968, the great songwriter Jimmy Webb was driving through rural Kansas when he noticed a lineman perched on a telephone pole talking into his phone. Webb said he put himself atop that pole and he imagined himself speaking to his girlfriend. Glenn Campbell gets a hold of it, and the poetic lyrics and the haunting melody turn into an American music classic. Short and sweet there. So enjoy The Wichita Lineman by Glenn Campbell.
All right, Oj, that's going to wrap up episode 108. A lot of questions. Great interview though with Kerry. That whole thing with how he got the turf from Indiana through Bobby Knight. That's unbelievable.
And the way he knows Pat Knight and, the whole family actually, But that story with getting the turf was something else. So.
Yeah, that was great. Hopefully your Brewers stay on a tear. Tigers get their act together and get back on a tear. And
Brewers, they just got the notice they won 7-1 tonight, so
they only scored 7, hey?
I wonder how long Luke watched the game tonight.
Yeah, probably not very long.
They got schemes going against them tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. But anyway, yeah, it's a tough time of the year for you. We'll just kind of piece it together and do next pod whenever we can. I don't know if it'll be in a week or two or whatever. We'll see what happens. But we make sure that we get the survivor pool, a little more info on that. I'm not quite sure how the whack job wants to get that out, or or what we have to do, or he has to do. So we'll make sure we have that, $10 a pop. And then we'll go through our Big Ten over-under thoughts on some of the win totals. And then I think we always do a little bit of the NFL with that too.
Yes, yes, for sure.
See who's where with the season totals leading up to the opening kickoff, so. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, well, you get to bed early tonight and enjoy another day of tech football tomorrow.
I will, every second. See you, Oj.
Talk to you later, Crouchy.